My name is Paul Lomas and I'm one of the founders of Nexus. I want to start by thanking Deborah for giving way to this 10 minutes this morning. The reason why I asked Deborah if I could step in is because there are three major benefits of being a member of Nexus. And in the order of what I think the importance is the first one is we get one-to-ones. We get the ability to have a one-to-one with our fellow members in a simple goal of exchanging contacts and getting referrals. The second one is this 10-minute slot, and we have at least two a year. We have 20 minutes a year where we get to have the focus on our company, and that's what I want to talk about today. And the third one is the 40 or the 60 seconds that we get, which really should be just an insight into the type of referrals that you want that week. But the middle one, the 10-minute one, is by far one of the most important benefits of membership. And for the last 8 years, I've sat here and I've watched a whole bunch of 10 minutes. And the one that really, really sticks in my mind was 6.5 years ago, and it was by a guy called Gary Crowther. And some of you will know Gary. He's an accountant from Brentwood. And he'd clearly prepared and he was clearly focused on what he wanted to achieve. And all that time in the future, I'm still remembering it and it's still in my head. And what I want to do today is try and give you some of that stuff that he did to help you. Now, of course, with the added pressure of video, I want to explain why we're doing this. So, videoing it, we're going to do a couple of things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to plaster it across Facebook. So we're going to flood Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter with your messages. And that's why it's vital that we don't just rock up to a 10 minutes of Nexus. An unprepared 10 minutes is going to look awful across those platforms. The second thing we're going to do is stick it on our website, and Danny is working tirelessly to generate a huge amount of traffic to the Nexus website, so people coming to Nexus will see your 10 minutes for the first time. We're going to stick it on a video blog, so we've got the Nexus YouTube channel. So again, that video blog is going to be across the ether within days of you doing this 10 minutes. But the last benefit, which is the one that I think is the hidden benefit, is that you end up with a 10-minute video that you can work with Adrian to create smaller videos, smaller clips that you can use. So going back to Deborah's, she has 3 different products that she sells, and therefore she covers those 3 products in her 10 minutes. She could generate smaller clips with Adrian and then use that as a mail shot. So if someone wants to know about broadband or telephone, she could send that clip, or electricity or gas, you could use that clip. So what is the perfect 10 minutes in my mind? Well, I think the easiest way to break it down is into 3 segments. So the first segment should be about you. So for example, I might stand up and say, good morning everybody, I'm Paul Lomas and I'm a director of Energy Centric. But actually involve what the role is. So, good morning everybody, my name is Paul Lomas, I'm a director of Energy Centric, and my role in Energy Centric is to work with clients to help them reduce the cost of electricity and gas. So rather than just my title, what I physically do. The second part should be about your company. So, using Energy Centric as an example, Energy Centric is one of the top 5 consultancies in the country, helping clients reduce their cost of electricity and gas. We do that through a mission statement of trust, transparency and accountability. So our clients trust us because they know that we're going to give them good advice. We are transparent because our fees are clearly marked out on the contract, and we're accountable to them. So again, using some USBs to get that across. So now I should be 5 minutes into my 10 minutes. And the last bit, which sadly I see very few people do, is the type of business that you want. Because this is our 10 minutes. So why would I spend 8.5 minutes talking about my university and then trying to, at the very last minute, tell you what I want? So for the referral bit, the last bit of the presentation should be what you're looking for. But because this is on video and because this is going out to lots of people, perhaps what you should do is spin it about the type of work you're currently doing. So I would say something like, Energy Centric is the largest energy consultancy in the third sector. That's a fact. There's no other consultancy bigger than us inside the third sector. So the type of business that I work with is charities. It's financial directors, it's facility managers, people inside that. So the perfect referral for me would be a third sector. And again, because my mind will be about splitting this video up, that section, I think, would be slightly different to a normal one. But we need to ask for what we want, because otherwise, how do we know as members what we need? And the last part of it should be the questions and answers. So the ability for other members to engage with you on the questions of the business. So, has anyone got any questions? And let's see if we can spark that off. Rob, give me a question about Energy Centric.
You can save money on our fuel. Does that go right way through the board, gas, electricity, oil? And does that go, work that way?
So this is a great question, isn't it? So this now gives me the ability to do a bit more selling rather than just answer that question. So I would then turn around and say that yes, as a consultancy, we monitor the five fuels. So gas, electricity, coal, carbon, and oil. But it's electricity and gas that we are saving you money on, and we do that by, and then whatever the answer is. So perhaps it wouldn't hurt to have 2 or 3 questions that you want the audience to ask you. There's no harm in that. I don't think there's any harm in that at all, if that helps your pitch. So to recap, what I'm suggesting should happen is the first part of the 10 minutes should be about you, maybe 2 minutes, no more than 2 minutes. Who you are, what you do, how you do it. The second part should be about your company, what your company does, what unique selling points your company has, what makes Lorna different. And your 10 minutes was perfect, fantastic. I watched it, and it kept me for the whole 10 minutes. I didn't fast forward it, I sat and watched it, which is why I tweeted it. But what differentiates Lorna from another solicitor? What does Lee offer differently? And that came across in Lee's 10 minutes, if you remember. That was quite a memorable 10 minutes, and we all left that feeling that he was a different sort of accountant to somebody else. So what differs us from our competition? And then the third section, which is the most important section, I think, which is the field that you work in and what makes you different. Last week, Kevin asked me how would he do something on tyres, because tyres are boring. And I think we spoke about that, didn't we, Kevin? And we come up with the thought that actually the fact that all of us ignore tyres is what his 10 minutes should be about. Almost a public safety message about what tyres are about. We know that they're black, and we know that they're round, and we know they come on our car. What we don't know is why we should take initiative now, and what we don't know is what his service is like, and that was what we came up with. So, what are Nexus going to do for you? Well, Nexus is going to do 2 things. The first thing is we're organising a workshop where we're going to do some formal training around videoing. So you'll be all invited to that. It'll be an evening over at Langdon Hills, and it will be on presentation skills. The second thing is there's tons of us that have been on formal presentation skills, including me. So you are more than welcome, if your 10 minutes is coming up, to grab time with me. We can write the 10 minutes together, we can practice it, we can work it through. And there's lots and lots of members that have got those skills. And then the third is we're gonna change the emphasis of the 10 minutes. So rather than just telling you it's your 10 minutes and then you're going, oh, okay, well, I'll rock up next week, is plan it into the future. So if you're a nervous character and you don't really envy doing this or don't want to do this, then work with the Secretary Treasurer and say, like, give me 10 minutes in August or September, giving you time to plan, to train, and then deliver what hopefully should be the perfect 10 minutes. So that is it. That is us. Thank you for listening.